Fire, beautiful and deadly. Man is said to have tamed fire 300 to 400,000 years ago, where the early Homo sapiens and late Neanderthals used fire to their advantage. However, fire is no man-made creation. Fire has existed just as long as the world has. The sun itself is a flaming ball of energy that lights up our world and keeps it alive. Fire is a scary thing. It has no life of its own. It burns wherever it is given the chance to, and can destroy anything in its path. Recently, around the world, we've seen an increased number of wildfires that are coming through, burning everything and leaving a black scar on the earth behind it. People always assume fire is a negative thing. However, fire is incredibly important for many ecosystems. In nature, fire is an incredibly important abiotic tool that can shape the environment. Fire is not alive, and yet it plays such a critical role in the living forces out in the world. Take for example the jack pine, the most widely distributed pine species in Canada. These trees require fire as part of their life cycles. The fire burns up the pine cone that protects the tree seeds. After the fire passes, the new seeds are released and can grow, restarting the cycle of growth. Fire is incredibly important for all ecosystems. After a disturbance like fire, the ecosystem reaches its maximum diversity and thus its maximum species richness. Burning of litterfall on the ground releases nutrients that can be used by new growth. The light that is now available from reduced canopy allows quick regeneration and recolonization by smaller species, like grasses, shrubs, and herbs. The increased abundance of these types of plants allows animal species to come in to graze on these plants, increasing the diversity of the forest. Indigenous people have long understood the importance of fire and its use in ecosystems and biodiversity. Low-intensity burns, also called cultural burns, have been practiced by indigenous people all over the world for hundreds of years. It has allowed the proper management of the forest, increasing its diversity and sustainability, and even protecting it from fully burning out. As seen in this image, this is an example of a low-intensity fire that the indigenous people use to support the growth of the forest. Branches, litter, small grasses, and ground plants will burn up, along with intermediate saplings and dead trees that may be blocking light for smaller plants on the ground floor. All of these combined together will lead to such things as more carbon released into the air, which the plants can absorb and turn into energy. The plants will then store more carbon within their barks and roots. The soil of the forest will also become more rich in new nutrients, which will allow all of the nutrients from the burn in the fire's ashes to be used by the plants. New plant species that come in or grow from seeds that have waited for fire will sprout, will also lead to increased biodiversity. Without the cultural burning by indigenous people, which keeps the potential burn sources in check, forests can undergo high-intensity fires, which destroy everything in their path and keep the forest from being able to regenerate. By using the two-eyed seeing perspective of the indigenous people, we can combine our Western science knowledge and their own knowledge from hundreds of years of learning to be able to protect the environment and the ecosystem. In this image, we see how an uncontrolled fire can destroy the forest, making it uninhabitable for a long period of time. Without the controlled burns, the fire is able to consume everything in its path, including the large trees that are essential to the forest's health and development. It will burn up all of the available nutrients, making it a dead zone for a long period of time. The carbon release in CO2 is high and won't be able to be absorbed by the trees left standing, as there are none left. The ash and the burn will also cause the soil to become hydrophobic, incapable of retaining water, again causing a lack of nutrients for new plant growth. In conclusion, fire can be both beautiful and deadly. It can significantly help the environment, but can just as easily harm it. It can increase biodiversity of forests and provide new nutrients for the plants and animals, but can also wipe out the whole forest just as quickly when the conditions are wrong.